I have no idea how to start this video. I have thoughts of this game that are in my head rent free, and every week I will muster up the energy to write up the script again and work on the video, but always end up busying myself with all the other things that are necessary in my life just to get by. I don't even do this out of habit or just my bad mental health, I just never have enough time. A great example of said time is the fact that I'm a university student now. I started writing up the script for this video before I even had my first day of study, which is almost a year at the current time of writing, by the way. Life is truly too short. Speaking of life and shortness and time, so Outer Wilds, it's pretty good. There are so many ways I can think of to pitch this game to you all. Right off the get-go, do you love space? The stars? Do you have an innate fear of dying? How about the fear of feeling your entire body being scorched down to the very brim till you have nothing but dust drifting into the cosmos? Do you fear being crushed under the weight of a room quickly filling up to the roof with sand, slowly making you feel like you're suffocating? How about the fear of looking out that window and feeling so alone and isolated as life brings you further and further away from your system, until you slowly waste away, starving, dehydrated, and losing your mind as you die alone, just as you fear you would since you were a child? And play Outer Wilds today. Yeah. Never before have I experienced a game that has spoken so much to me through so little action, and helped me through so much without even saying a thing. Mobius Games made this game with love, and it truly shows. The art style of this game is the first thing that drew me in, because naturally it's the first thing you're going to see. It's cozy and warm, like the campfire you wake up next to when you first start, and somehow familiar, like a cartoon you saw as a child that stuck with you. The sounds are so raw and natural, I find myself lost in the nature of this universe that is not completely alien and not completely familiar either. There is a perfect balancing act in everything this game has to offer, and the music, oh my god, the music is something I listen to almost every day, even after years of first playing this gem of a game. It's my favourite game of all time so far, and no, this is not just my favourite indie game, which it is as well, but no, this is the number one thing I've ever experienced in a form of media. And in the past few years, I am finding more and more people that can relate and connect with me on such a personal level through this media. Which is why I know you are either someone who loves this game and never lets it end, and have watched over half a dozen different reviews and somehow found mine, or you are someone who stumbled into my channel to find out more about this game itself specifically, or you are someone who thinks you know me. Spoiler though, you don't, and that's a straight enough answer as you're ever going to get about that. Spoiler night 2, I'm going to be spoiling everything about this game, not even going into the DLC yet, because then this video would actually take me years to do. But if you're like me, you're going to want to know what you are getting into before you even invest in the DLC and purchase something because you know you want it and that it's worth it. Which is why the big spoilers will naturally come at the end of the video, and we will start off very small for now, and I fully implore you to just trust my opinion and buy it, or if you need to, go try it. Otherwise, what I call play before you pay. It's not hard to easily get it just through a simple Google search, but I'll leave that to you, eh? But naturally you're still here, and that's fine, I won't judge you. I wouldn't trust me either, especially without knowing all the details, I get it. To start us off, this game sets you up in the world of Timberhearth. You're a hatchling that is about to set off into the stars and explore your solar system, like the ones before you from the Outer Wilds Ventures crew. You, as the player, have no knowledge of this universe and how everything works, but that is okay. This world is taught to you with minimal hand-holding to boot. Everything will be your own discovery. Non-linearity is something that I can't help but love. As you are told how the mechanics work, such as your jetpack and zero-G, or that you have a camera that you can capture photography with, or even the radio system on how you can find signals across your entire system and follow them. You even get to pilot a mini spaceship that you are going to be flying the big version of the entire game. You're given one example to follow through with when you start off on your first run, that you can entirely miss, by the way. And then you have the knowledge on how it works, which is perfect, because from now on the whole universe has you in its hands, and it's up to you to discover its intentions and how to read and understand it. Which is not a joke. Also, There is a lot of reading in this game, which personally does bore me after too long, but the way the writing grabs you by humanizing complete aliens, they don't look like you, they don't look like me, and are alien to us, and yet they feel and think so human. They have reasons they exist and feelings that drive them to do what they do and act how they act. Truly a message that asks to be understood through each character and their personalities. And now that you've understood your world and its people and know everything about everything, time to finally get off this rock, get on your ship, and the chances are, just like me and my fiance, you are either going to be pulled into the sun's gravity and melt into there's nothing left of you, or you're going to quickly realise that in space there are rules that don't apply like they do when you're on a planet. There is no gravity, and in order to stop after you've accelerated, you need to push back in the opposite way in order to come to a halt. Which for me was another planet, as I realised too late, of course, that I am approaching a planet at a rate that I cannot slow down from, until I did come to a halt because I rammed into said planet with my ship, broke apart into pieces, and two, did my body, namely my head, was shattered, and yet, very strangely, all my memories of that day, slowly, were placed back to me in glimpses, until they didn't, because I woke up right back at the beginning, where I first saw those stars and that campfire as the player. Oh yes, talking to your friend Slate sure doesn't help. He seems to think it was just a bad dream, very strange, and it left me with a feeling of longing, a feeling that I wanted to know more and that I need to know more. Everything this universe has to offer, and I did. Oh, I did. As I said earlier, this game is non-linear, so there's no right way to go first, because you don't know where the right way to beat this game even is. On your ship, you have a map of your system and data of everything you've come across, as well as rumours on what you can look for next. You can start off small and explore your planet more, maybe even the moon, or a completely different planet entirely. The choice is entirely yours, as it should be. If you do head to the moon, as an example, you will discover one of the Venture crew that will welcome you, and just like every other traveller, will give you a very small hint on what you can do next. And if you discover even more, you will discover his logs, as well as a Nomai version of a telescope that lets you look at and focus on the sounds of the worlds in your system. A teaser of what they hold, and that's exciting, right? And here's the best part, everything in this game has some sort of message, some sort of answer to the riddle. It desperately wants to be heard and understood, and I love Mobius games so much for giving this to me as well as the whole rest of the world. Another small spoiler before we get into the meat of this meal, that you will no doubt find out about after your first or maybe even second loop of the game, but when I said loop previously instead of runs, like in some sort of roguelike, I meant that quite literally. You're a time looper, and this power is not your own. You were chosen to have it. Why? Because your system is dying. Your sun is about to go supernova, and you currently have no idea why. So every time time runs out, and you are killed by the scorching heat of the sun and sent back a bit over 22 minutes, all the way back to the start of your loop, you start from square one. And please note, this is not knowledge-wise, but position-wise. You in theory cannot die and have all the time in the universe to find out the secrets of the universe itself and save it. But my friends, there are so many things worse than death. If you're not sold yet about the potential of this game already, just from the mechanics alone, then here is another warning. I'm now going to be spoiling every planet and what it holds, as well as their message at the end. Go play this game already if you haven't done so yet. This is a once-in-a-lifetime experience, and if you honestly ruin it for yourself by continuing on anyway, I feel sorry for you. Every planet in this game has a meaning, and that comes from the hopes and dreams of it, as well as the fears and terrors. Starting with your home Timber Hearth, you start off learning, you begin to know what surrounds you and what you need to do to succeed. You learn how to function in space, on the planets, and how your gadgets work, and that's great, right? This is your home, and you know it. But what if you don't? What if compared to the whole knowledge of the universe, you know absolutely nothing? Not even the secrets of your world were revealed until you found them. Your people, your family is ignorant to this world you now know, and you have to carry it all yourself. You can't tell anyone about this reality you live in, this world where you're all alone. If you tell them, they either won't believe you or they'll think you're crazy, so you just have to head back out and keep doing what you're doing in the blackness of space, all alone. Every single loop, when no one can hear you scream in space. Real heartwarming stuff here, right? The next one I'll delve into is Brittle Hollow, accompanied by its moon, Hollow's Lantern. That, of course, spits out balls of molten lava onto the crust of the planet. That's not even the best part, guys, you'll love this. For whatever reason you end up here, sightseeing, the beacon of one of the Nomai escape pods, you're looking to search for survivors and translate their secrets and so on and so forth, you're going to realise pretty quickly that your ship is missing. Strange. Parked it right here and not all the way on the other side of the solar system. And if, for example, you're looking in the escape pod of the Nomai, you're going to see another example of show, don't tell storytelling, where you open the escape pod, see it destroy these crappy ass wooden bridges to descend and get sucked into a black hole. Yeah, you heard me. A black hole. So now you're going to descend through this planet, avoiding falling to your death, and even look death in the eye as you walk upside down on the roofs of the ceiling and walk across them, as well as use gravity wells that teleport you short distances. Safety rails, by the way, are non-existent, so don't miss. Also, don't take too long, because those elevators are temporary. Good luck. So what is this planet doing? Well, it is forcing you to embrace your fear of free falling, obviously. You're being forced to go out of your way to cheat death and break all the rules in order to get to your goal. But don't worry, if you fall, it's not actually the end of the world. Yet. All you've lost is time. Precious time that you need and will never get back. So use it wisely and use it well. You got this, and the goal is actually so close. Just cheat death first. Giant Steep is quite a different one for me personally, because the only thing I had gathered from this planet at first, as I stood on the moon listening scope of Timberhearth, was that it was going to be extremely windy, and when I looked at it, all I could see was ocean. Well, guess what? It's both. You're going to be dodging tornadoes as they do everything they can to suck up your ship. If you didn't park in the reserved parking spot, it will be spit out into space, never to be retrieved ever again. And of course you and whatever island you're standing on will also be sucked out. And if you're not fast enough to get to safety, crack your head open and splatter you all over the floors as your body meets it. Oh, and the ocean, yes. That is the whole rest of the planet. A giant sea planet that you will be descending into in order to get the secrets that you need at the core of the planet in order to meet endgame. And you are not alone in that dark, dark abyss. Now this one is the most meh for me, because even as a child I have almost drowned, I think more than once actually, and this deep dark blue does still not scare me nearly as much as the other terrors of the universe. This deep and dark blue holds a lot of creatures in it though, but even then I fear not. I cannot describe why, it's kind of unknown to me, really. There are plenty of people watching this that will have an irrational fear of the ocean and what it holds, but I have never been able to relate, even though I can understand on a personal level. And just like my own fears, you probably might not relate to those or understand them either, and that's perfectly okay. Humans strive for need of connection, but that also means just plain communication and debates, which is really the whole meaning of this game in the first place. Seeking answers and information. Dark Bramble is the one that everyone knows from all the clips and shorts. Everyone fears it on a primal level, which is why I hate it, and support all the fans that hate it. Planet plays with pocket dimensions and has a real sense of the end is never the end, because you can go back through layer after layer through that fog without truly progressing at all. But as soon as you backtrack, you're out of the hellhole and back into space. So if you are ever visiting the Bramble, always realise your mistake and just turn back around and start over. The thing that everyone has etched into their memory is not only the primal fear of the giant fishies, but also the hope of your mission if you are at that point. You see deep into the fog. You have something called the vessel, and it is only the precursor of how the Nomai travelled to your dimension in the first place. Their home ship is completely destroyed and unpowered, but this is the pathway you need in order to get to the eye of the universe. The thing the Nomai came to your solar system for in the first place. If you've already been to the Giant's Deep, delved deep into the core of the planet, and gotten the secret within, you know the coordinates for the eye of the universe. Now you just need power. Before we finish off the planets, there should be honourable mentions for notable places, and even the characters in this beautifully written game, with so much personality. I'll be getting into the characters later, of course, don't you worry, I'm not done dumping you with info yet. The notable mentions that are not really classed as planets are the Interloper and the Sun Station. The Interloper is a bell tolling for the end. It fits to its name and loops your solar system over and over again, but as you see your sun get bigger and bigger and turn into a red giant, it swallows it up and marks the end of your time. As that music creeps in, and it sweetly takes you away. The Sun Station marks one of the biggest soul-crushing moments in the game. As you progress through the game, you find out that the Nomai were trying to trigger the supernova themselves. So you travel there in hopes to stop it, hoping that it would all end and you'd fix it and everything would be better, only to find out that they never even got enough power to make it work in the first place. The sun is going supernova from old age, and there is nothing you can even hope to do to stop it. If you head to the planet closest to the sun, you will find the Ember Ash twins. These two planets have somehow made their own rules of the universe, where sand will be transported from one planet over to the other after a certain amount of time passes, of course. You, of course, end up delving through the caverns and caves of the twins, and if you take too long looking around, or say, get lost, well, a life as a pancake is what you get. This on its own seems manageable, but really isn't. You see, there are certain sections of this planet that are only accessible as soon as the loop starts. So as soon as you start a run, if you don't get there immediately, you have to reset, and of course, if you're too late, then, well, learning about what this planet holds and the secrets inside is absolutely amazing. The Twin Project is what holds you together, what keeps your life in this constant loop, and holds the literal key to the endgame motive. But what about the risks that come with this goal? This planet is a fear of time itself. Anxiety incarnate. If you are not good enough to make it to your goal in time, this planet will die. It will fail, and it will cost you your life. The ultimate cost that you could have avoided if you were just better and could handle what you were supposed to be doing. If you can't tell by now, this is the one that brings me the most fear on a personal level. None of the planets even come close. So you keep trying and failing and trying and failing, and it sucks and it's too hard and you'd rather do anything else. You make it through, and just like that, you know it all. You look back and you're not scared anymore, and actually, why were you even worried in the first place? It feels so easy now, right? It was stupid. But now that that's all out of the way, the deep conversation's done, let's get into the characters, and, well, there pretty much are none. Unless, of course, you're talking about the fact that every single character has some sort of dialogue tree that seems to help you in minor or major ways. Knowledge is what it takes to accomplish this game, and with all of that being of note, this game can be finished in mere minutes if you know how to do it. Which is why, if you've just spoiled yourself on the whole story, this is your final chance to back out. Okay, thank God that guy's gone. Nothing like ruining a once-in-a-lifetime experience, right? Right? Once you have the knowledge of the universe under your belt, you can get to the eye of the universe by making it through that goddamn dark bramble and using the coordinates on the ship to teleport there and meet your other companions that you have met along your journey. You enjoy the campfire, the music, and the joy of what you have all been through. You see everything you know and love die in front of your eyes as your last breaths leave your body, and you join the universe in death. But the funny thing is, right, that you were so powerless to stop the end, prevent the loop from ever ending, and achieve your goal, as its crushing weight did nothing but hold you down and oppress you. It is the realization, though, that you needed to let go and let new things take your place. as a human, we all have some sort of protagonist view on the world, and that nothing else happens outside of our vision. It happens to all of us sometime or another, but the world continues to move forward while we get left behind. And there is not a damn thing we can do about it. So the most we can do is move forward and better ourselves before we become one with the earth. So, Outer Wilds, it's pretty good.